Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Rosanna,
I'm Ruby.
I'm Israel.
I'm Jesse.
and today we're going to be covering the last half of season 2 of House of the Dragon, episodes 6 through 8, including the finale.
Mm-hmm.
So, before we get started, we just want to mention real quick about the Game of Thrones resources that we have available on cloudLibrary and Hoopla. Check out the book that inspires the House of the Dragon, Fire and Blood. Just as the show does, Fire and Blood details the Targaryen dynasty's rise and rule, filled with epic battles, political intrigue, and dragon lore. This book is available on cloudLibrary and Hoopla. We definitely suggest checking it out today with your BiblioTech card. Also, be sure to check out The World of Ice and Fire, the untold history of the world of A Game of Thrones. The World of Fire and Ice is the definitive companion piece to George R.R. Martin's dazzlingly conceived universe. It accumulates knowledge, scholarly speculation, and inherited folktales of maesters and septons, magi and singers, including in-depth explorations of the history and culture of Westeros. It does touch on events that we see in the House of Dragon show.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend checking those out. So getting right into it, we'll just quickly recap episodes 6, 7, and then go more in depth for episode 8, y'all. So episode 6 was titled Small Folk. So in an attempt to win favor with the small folk in King's Landing and to foster resentment towards Aegon and Team Green, Rhaenyra and Mysaria send food on boats to King's Landing. Do y'all remember that shot where all the boats?
The foggy shot?
Yeah, that was just
cool.
an amazing shot. Like, it was so beautiful. I would love like an art print of that, like with the Targaryen sigil on the boats and everything. That was so cool.
Yeah, seeing the black Targaryen sigil was awesome right there.
The
I felt
real
it.
Targaryen.
Yeah, I felt it. Like, that was really cool. And then we do see Sir Stefan's attempt to claim Sea Smoke. It fails and he dies. Yeah, he gets burnt. Sea Smoke later bonds with Adam of Hull, solidifying his place in the Targaryen conflict. The Small Folk riot, signaling the Green Council's loss of control over the capital. Helena and Alicent, they're caught like right smack in the middle of that. Do y'all remember that? They were like, they were praying
the
the
Queen of
Septon.
Fishes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Alicent gets a fish thrown at her, that was pretty good to see. I'm
And
not
then
gonna
she
lie.
gets the scar too.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
She gets a scar, and it's kind of like a
It
little
mirrors.
Yeah, it mirrors Rhaenyra when Alicent actually
Yeah.
cut her, right? Yeah, and I think she notices that too, because she kind of like gives a pause at it while they're in the carriage. She looks at it and she's like, And finally, Aemon removes Alicent from the small council and calls for Larys to fetch Otto Hightower to be his new Hand of the King. That was great. That was a great scene. Yeah, Larys was like, "Oh, I'd be honored, your whatever," and Aemon's just like, "Nah, you freaking
Toad.
goat. Yeah, you
Yeah,
toad. Yeah, you toad. Get me Otto Hightower." Right. So we'll go into episode 7, the Red Sowing. Pretty good episode. Bastard sons and daughters with Valyrian blood. People die, people live, but it's Hugh Hammer and Ulf White that become dragon riders. Because at this point, Rhaenyra and Jacaerys, they have the idea to like, well, let's see if we can, get dragon riders. We have 3 dragons, or we have 2 dragons. Let's see if we can get them riders. Hugh claims Vermithor, and Ulf White claims Silverwing.
Well, it's more like Silverwing claimed Ulf.
Yeah, right. I didn't really understand that part, that whole scene where, because Ulf like basically steps in an egg, and then Silverwing is like all good with that. Like, I don't know about that.
That's her ugly little baby that hatched from that egg.
Yeah.
Oh,
The only thing that I can think of is because Ulf claims that he is the son of Balon Targaryen, who was Alysane's favorite son. And Silverwing used to be Alysane's dragon. So maybe Silverwing smells Balon on Ulf, smells that blood.
Ah, I like
Yeah,
that
could
because that
be
makes
that.
sense.
It
Because
could
I don't want to believe that he's the blood of Targaryen.
But also too, what you were saying, like he might have stepped in it, and Silverwing thinks that's her child. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
It could be. So the episode ends with riding Silverwing. Ulf goes to King's Landing. Can't really control it, so it's not that he went there, it's that Silverwing took him there, right? And Aemon is at a council with all his people, and Aemon pursues him on Vhagar, but he nearing Dragonstone, we get that epic scene, right? Aemon sees Rhaenyra with all her new dragon riders and dragons, and he's like, "Go, let's return!" All right. So that was a pretty cool scene, right? So finally, the season does end with episode 8, The Queen Whoever Was. So the episode opens to Aemon breathing pretty heavily, and we find out that he burned and destroyed Sharp Point, which is one of the towns belonging to Team Black's, right? To
Yes.
Team Black. So I liked it. I thought it was a good opening scene, but do you think it would have been more impactful by showing Aemon actually burn the town?
Yeah, definitely. It's classic HBO Game of Thrones fare where they never show the actual battle. They just show the aftermath. Everything's kind of smoldering and on fire.
That was too much money.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that because I feel like it would have really delivered how insecure, frustrated, angry Aemon is. Like we know he's like crazy, but I would have liked to have given that maybe just a couple of scenes, you
Yeah.
know, maybe of like him like remembering like as he was like burning the town. I think that would have been pretty impactful. What do you think, Rosanna?
I think so. Yeah.
I would have liked to see a lot of things in this episode that wasn't shown.
Yeah, definitely. And then the episode does shift over. Daemon concludes his adventure in Harrenhal, or Luigi's Mansion, right, by experiencing a vision of Rhaenyra on the Iron Throne. He sees the Rhaenyra on the Iron Throne. He sees White Walkers. He sees Daenerys, right, the prince who was promised or something like that, right? And then the vision finally motivates him to finally once again bend the knee to Rhaenyra. And so, if you remember, in season 1, Daemon bends the knee, and then it ends with Daemon bending the knee, and then now it ends with Daemon bending the knee again. I'm like, bro, dude, you need to like, I don't know, grow up, man. Like you have kids, you have a dragon, you're a king, you know, all this type of
Consort.
stuff. Yeah, a king consort. Like
I think because in the beginning it shows like, yeah, they're doing this together, they're powerful, but then as the season went on, it was kind of like questioning, like, is Daemon gonna try to like take over the throne himself, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of people had that question, like he was building his own army almost. That's what it made it seem
Yeah.
like. And that one guy, I don't remember his name, but he didn't want to follow Rhaenyra, but he wanted to follow Daemon as a leader. So I think now
the traitor, right?
yeah,
Sir Alfred, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the traitor.
And then so now Daemon like bending his knee again, it's like reiterating like, no, like I am doing this with Rhaenyra after all. I don't know.
Finally.
That's what it seemed to me.
Because he
Yeah.
left her alone for this whole season. You know,
Yeah.
she's grieving not only, you know, her stillborn, she's grieving Lucerys.
Yeah.
She's over here, you know, she just lost Rhaenys, who was, you know, the only person who supported her.
Mhm.
She's having trouble keeping her own counsel on hand. Like, this girl had to do it all by herself, you know, only like 2 or 3 people on her side. And then finally he came to his senses like, dude, it's about time.
It's a lot different in the book as well because Daemon and Rhaenyra, this separation never happens in the book. In the book, he uses proper tactics to build up his army, and it's very clear that at some point he plans on rejoining her. So very different in the show.
Yeah. Daemon sucks. Such a loser, dude. Like, my God, like you have all this money, you have all this power.
He
you're
was fighting some
successful,
demons,
you
some
know.
weird demons, some weird nightmares.
If Daemon died, I wouldn't care. No, I'm just kidding. I would care. He's an awesome character. But yeah.
But before we go on, the vision, I really liked how he saw himself drowning in the waters at the
yeah.
God's Eye. He basically saw his death. So
Yeah.
See, I didn't think of it like that. I thought it was him lost in the vision. I didn't think it was like him at the God's Eye at the time, but it definitely makes a lot more sense.
I don't have it written down here, but Aemon does go to Helena and he's like, I need dragon riders. I need you to get on Dreamfire and I need you to go to war with me. And Helena's like, hold up, buddy. Like, first of all, you need to tone it down and you are going to die. And this is how you're going to
You're
die.
going to die Wednesday, August 7th at 6 p.m.
Yeah, above the God's Eye. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, by the way. You know,
I mean,
just putting
yeah,
that out there.
All spoiler alerts. But whatchamacallit, that was a pretty impactful scene. I really liked it. That was probably one of my favorite interactions, right?
again, pretty different in the book because in the book, Helena pretty much goes insane after the blood and cheese episode.
Yeah.
And you never hear from her again.
Yeah.
In this show, she's very lucid.
Mhm.
She doesn't hesitate to get into Aemon's face.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah, and Helena's like the one, whether you're team green or black, everyone just like, you know, protect Helena.
Yeah, because even at one point, Rhaenyra, she's like, you know, poor Helena, you know, I can't imagine what she's going through, or I can't imagine what she's going through. Yeah, so everyone's kind of like thinking about Helena, but Helena's taking care of herself, it seems like.
Good for her.
Yeah, which is a stark difference from the book, right? She goes mad. I will say I would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to have seen in the book I don't know if the show's gonna take it that way anymore, but she commits suicide, doesn't she?
That I don't
Doesn't she
remember.
like throw herself out
What's
the
like
window?
I think so. What I do remember from the book is she goes totally insane. She locks herself up in her chambers. She refuses to eat. She refuses to bathe. She refuses to raise her kids that are living, and so Allison has to raise them. And I wouldn't be surprised if she kills herself.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be leading up to that.
she does
There's-
kill herself, but it seems like there's. I'm sorry, Ruby. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I
was
just think it
gonna
might
say
be
it
leading
seems like they might make
Take it
it
in a different direction.
like she might still like throw
Do
herself
it.
out the window, but it
at
might
the
seem
right
more
time.
more maybe they're gonna frame it like Aemon's the one that did it, or like
Oh,
someone else kind
Yeah.
of do it.
Because
would've-
he already killed his brother. Basically, he's what has
Yeah.
he been doing still alive?
And she does confront him with that as well. She's like, I know you burned Aegon, and I would like to see that still happening, right? I just wonder what needs to happen for her to be pushed to do that, because
it
having
wasn't her kids dying.
Yeah, it wasn't her kids dying. And then we also see her and her mother kind of becoming more close, right? Discussing, talking to each other, all that type of stuff. So I like seeing that as well. But going back to Daemon, so with Daemon bending the knee, what implications might this newfound dedication have on their relationship, especially in relation to Rhaenyra and Mysaria's new interactions, new relationship? What do we see going on there?
Well, so them joining forces is going to be easier for them to retake King's Landing for sure. I don't know what the future holds in terms of the relationship wise. In the books, it makes it pretty clear that Mysaria and Daemon stay together. However, the book kind of hints that Rhaenyra is kind of part of that. So it's kind of like those three together in a relationship while they're there in King's Landing. So maybe the show's kind of angling for something like that.
Nice, very inclusive.
Very inclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, because I feel like Daemon's a different man now. Like the experiences that he went through, the things that he processed. I just wonder how he'll react. If he's gonna answer with anger, with understanding, with indifference, with intrigue, maybe. I don't know. I would like to see what they do with that.
I kind of hated how everyone was just telling Rhaenyra, like, in order to take King's Landing, you need Daemon. Like, you need Daemon, you need Daemon. And she even said, she was like, I'm sick of hearing, like, that I need Daemon. I'm like, Daenerys didn't need a guy. She did it all on her own.
Yeah, she had 3 dragons on her own. And she also had the Dothraki, So,
but
she don't need Daemon.
She still doesn't need Daemon.
But
and there was no Vagar.
That too.
There was no Vagar.
There wasn't Meemaw Vagar.
Now there's no there's a Tessarion now, another dragon. So it was a bit different, definitely a bit different. But shifting, one of my favorite scenes of the episode, and I might have processed it a little bit wrong or different from other people, but I want to see what y'all think. So one of my favorite scenes of the episode is when Sir Gawain confronts Criston Cole about his relationship with his sister, the Queen Consort. And in a moment of clarity and self-realization of his insignificance, Criston Cole says, "My desire for women brings me grief after grief. You say what I say. You saw what I saw. The dragons dance, and men are like dust under their feet. We march now towards our annihilation." So do you see this type of sentiment expressed by Cole in the book, Jesse?
No, not in the book. The interaction never takes place because Gawain stays in King's Landing.
Yeah.
He's actually second in charge of the Gold Cloaks, pretty much in charge of security at the city. And he actually does such a good job at it that the scenes in the show where the Targaryen bastards are leaving King's Landing or the food coming into King's Landing, that never happens because in the book, King's Landing security is pretty much on point.
That's good. I really like Sir Gawain. I like his character.
Yeah.
I think I just wonder at what happened for him to confront Criston Cole like that, because he took his sword out and he pointed it to Criston Cole. Criston Cole was just like, "Yeah, man, okay." Okay.
I mean,
if
Criston
I die,
Cole just has that aura of low B energy.
He's a basic B.
Yes.
I think the despair that Criston Cole finally showed kind of affected Gawain and was like, I can't even do anything to him because now I just feel sorry for him.
Yeah, definitely. And so, what do y'all think of the show almost like humanizing Criston Cole after like all he's done and said?
I still hate him.
Yeah, he could have just kept it in his pants. Like,
honestly,
what is this grief of being a man?
I mean, that's part of your whole vow. Like, dude, you
Yeah.
got yourself into this.
I will say I do like if they take the direction in that Criston Cole is almost like Daemon, where he's going through like looking at his life, looking at the choices that he's made, and he's like, you know what, I want to redeem myself. I want to be a better person. I'm all for it. I like that. I think it adds depth to his character because on face value, we see Kristen Cole like just this misogynistic, ugly guy. I mean, he's not ugly; he's pretty handsome. But like this, she's just a horrible person, And I found myself, in season 1 and season 2, being like, "Man, get off the screen." But that makes for a good character.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think he's gonna stay that way. Like Game of Thrones loves having those characters, or like that poor actor will probably be the same as Joffrey when he goes out in public.
I was just gonna say, testament to that actor.
It's not. Yeah, it's not on that level. Joffrey was a very horrible human being.
Then shifting over, some way, somehow, Alicent, just like Rhaenyra, she travels from King's Landing to Dragonstone undetected, and she speaks with Rhaenyra. So they discuss the possibility of no more bloodshed, and Rhaenyra answers coolly with, "Okay, well then, a son for a son needs to occur, right?" And that's what's required. Those are my terms. And Alicent, she's like, "I could potentially make that happen. Yes. Like it's like opening the gates, and y'all can just go in." And Rhaenyra's like, "Okay, well then, Aegon needs to die. I need to, and everyone needs to see him die." Right. And in a feeble attempt, she asked Rhaenyra to run away with her. What did y'all make of that scene, like in general? Did y'all like that?
I feel like that's just Alicent's character. It seems like any little tough situation that goes on, she just takes a vacation, just goes off, and
I mean, go ahead, Jess.
It felt like she was trying to grasp back at her childhood, maybe when life was easier. Yeah, and she just, come on, Rhaenyra, let's just run off like we talked about when we were kids.
I mean, she in the whole last episode, we saw her finally realize, like, she had kind of like that rebirth moment in the lake, and that kind of brought her back to her senses, like, this isn't all worth it. Granted, it is too little too late, but I do like that she went, again, somehow undetected to King's Landing, had that heart-to-heart with Rhaenyra, and I think she knew, like, Rhaenyra would never be able to come with her, but it was still just kind of like, just... Let me put that out there. Let me put that out there. I thought it was a really well executed scene, very well done, and
very beautiful.
While I understand some people have their issue with the finale and not the action that it had, I think it really set up like that whole emotional aspect, like, this is what's going to happen. Like, people are going to die. Like, this is probably the last time we're going to interact on, like, a decent note.
I know.
I see that.
The thing is that I had that thought and sentiment several times during this season. So, I don't know.
Yeah, this whole season kind of just dragged, honestly.
I remember, like, after episode, like, one of the early episodes, like, okay, there's no going back. And I think even one of us or all of us said it here on one of the episodes that we put out before, like, oh, things are going to be, there's no turning back, right? Especially with the killing of Helena's son and all that type of stuff. Like, this is a turning point, but it just seems like there's been multiple attempts for no bloodshed to be done, right? One of the things that I really enjoyed, and it's a theory that I saw, was it was about Alicent, right? And it was about her dress colors, right? So in the very beginning, when she was a teenager or younger, she would wear blue, right? Then she got married to Viserys, and she started wearing green, right? And then we have that scene in season 2 where she goes to the lake and she's all in white in the river in the lake, and then when she goes to talk to Rhaenyra, she's wearing blue again, right? I really like that. I felt like that just the visuals, it showed that she's going back to, like you said, Jesse, an attempt to go back to her childhood. I thought that was really beautifully done. Yeah, I thought it was really great.
And I think, like, regardless of how you see it, like, there's people who have their opinions. Maybe their relationship was platonic, sisterly, romantic. Regardless of how you see it, at the end of the day, like, they have love for each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's there, and that's just going to make everything play out so much more painfully.
Which I think if it was like a relationship between two men, I don't think we would have seen as much restraint. Like, especially like men in this world of Game of Thrones, right, of House of the Dragon, they would have killed each other. They would have fought. There would be no attempt to make peace, right? And so the fact that we see multiple attempts, it shows their deliberation. It shows their love for each other, because Rhaenyra could have easily been like, nah, get out of here, or I'm going to kill you. But it didn't happen. I wonder where Alicent's going to go, though. I don't know. But the episode ends, right? As you said, Rosanna, armies are marching, dragons are flying, right? we see Rhaena, it's looking like she's gonna ride Sheep Stealer. And Sheep Stealer looked freaking cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sheep Stealer looked really nice. It's interesting the changes that they're making to her character in the show. I really like Rhaena in the show a lot more than in the book. She has a lot more to do, and pretty excited to see what's going to happen there.
In the book, is she just kind of like in the back, like not really mentioned?
Yeah, in the book, at this point, she's just shipped off to Pentos and is told to go raise the kids, and that's it.
And that's it.
And then she got kicked out of Pentos in the show.
Yeah.
So, well, not kicked out, but
yeah. Where was
relocated.
She was in.
She was, so in the show right now, she was in the Vale,
Yeah,
where
Vale.
Lady Aaron kicked her out and said, it's time for you to go to Pentos.
Yeah.
And in the show, it just shows her with like maybe 2 or 3 kids, but in the book, she has a whole litter of just royal kids that she's just
right?
like, just go take care of them.
Yeah, but I love the way Sheep Stealer looked. He looked freaking cool, man. And I believe in the book, the writer for Sheep Stealer is who?
Nettles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we'll see that character at all, or if they just kind of took it away. But we also see that Otto Hightower was in jail.
Oh yeah.
I don't know anything about that. That does not happen in the book. So I'm actually pretty anxious to see who has him imprisoned.
Yeah, because he went to Old Town, right?
He went to Old Town. They told him to gain the support of the Reach.
Yeah.
And the Reach is in its own little civil war
Yeah.
because of what Kristen Cole did. So I don't know where the show's going there.
Yeah, we'll see. That was pretty interesting. One of the spoilers that I had saw from a Twitter user, who was apparently correct about a lot of things, but not this one, was that he was going to die in this season at the end of this episode. That he was going to be like executed, but that didn't happen. But he was in jail. So yeah, we also see Daron with riding to Sarion.
Mhm.
Such a cool scene.
That was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
such a good character. And the Blue Queen.
Yeah,
Is,
yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
That's such a cool nickname, the Blue Queen. Because like even like just seeing Tessarion and Daron riding, you can tell she's like blue, right? Like
Mhm.
that was really cool.
No, I thought she was yellow.
And then we do see Laris, because Laris escaped King's Landing with Aegon,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that whole going on right there, Laris is like, look, Aemon is going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're handicapped, I'm handicapped, so let's make a pact.
I've
let's kinda work
embezzled some money.
together. Yeah, he's like, I've moved the majority of my money out from over there. I believe he said he put it in the bank.
He put it in the Iron Bank, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best move he could have ever made. My God, those guys do not mess around. And so season 3 should be action packed. It
Oh,
should be action
absolutely.
packed.
Because it's going to get like right to it with the Battle of the Gullet, right?
Battle of the Gullet should be right at the beginning.
But that's what we thought of this
Yeah.
season.
I think we'll see the storming of King's Landing.
Oh yeah.
That first episode. I hope so.
Well, in the book, the Battle of the Gullet happens first. So, but I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So it's pretty lined up. We have new dragons, new dragon riders. Aegon's going off on an adventure. Daemon is back from his adventure. Now we just have to wait. What? A
2
year and a half?
years?
2 years.
So you won't be hearing from us about House of the Dragon
Ever
anytime
again.
soon. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Like, yeah, who knows what will happen? They might just cancel it all of a sudden. One thing I did
I
want
don't
to
think
say.
they would. Oh my God. That'd be terrible.
One thing I'll say is the vibes of like Game of Thrones was a cultural phenomenon. Like that was everyone when their freaking aunt and niece was watching that show. I'm not getting the same thing from House of the Dragon.
I think that the season 8 of Game of Thrones still has a lot of people disillusioned.
Yeah.
And it's affecting the way people get into
Yeah,
Hot
definitely.
D.
Yeah. Before we end it, what did y'all think of the season overall?
I mean, for someone who kind of just,
Mhm.
first thing was
Yeah.
episode 2. Now
she
I've-
actually never watched season 1.
No, well, I went back and watched it afterwards.
Oh, you did?
So she says,
I'm
so
like
she says.
immersed now because I'm like, I want to back up my facts. Like I've been reading the World of Ice and Fire, the Game of Thrones
Yeah.
comics because I'm like, I don't want to go watch the show, but
Mhm.
just kind of immersing
Yeah.
myself, doing my research. So now I'm like, okay, I can,
You're on board?
yeah, with House of the Dragon specifically.
Yeah.
I don't think I could go back and do
Game of Thrones. Why
yeah.
not?
I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah,
would
I
say.
think it's worth it.
I don't know. That's investing a lot, and then I'm
Honestly-
just gonna read the graphic
Honestly,
novels.
I think I like Game of Thrones more than House of Dragon.
I have to wait for House of the Dragon to end
finish.
to see what they
To
do.
see.
But you liked it overall, season
Oh,
2?
absolutely. I'm invested now. Y'all made the wrong choice telling me to go watch this because I'm
No,
hooked.
I made the right choice. That's
You
good.
made the wrong choice because
That's
now
good.
y'all are never going to hear the end of it. But I will say, like, going back to the finale real quick, people are comparing, because you mentioned season 8, people are comparing, like, saying that this finale was worse than
Season 8.
season 8. I do not understand how that
Yeah,
could, like,
I don't know.
I can
I
understand
don't
being
see that.
disappointed in a finale, which I'm in the minority. I was not. But comparing it to the train wreck that
Yeah, you've not
Like,
seen it and you know about it.
I know
you
about, well, also because, okay, so one thing, I was on Twitter when Game of Thrones was
Yeah.
around, and I would like hop on the
Yeah.
thread because it was everywhere. Like you said, it was a worldwide cultural phenomenon. I would get on the thread. I'd be, up to date with what was happening. So
I didn't
but,
like the season.
season 8 was
You
just
didn't like season 2?
No. I'm just like upset because I feel like we're in the exact same spot that we were in the first episode of the season. Like, this amazing thing's gonna happen, this battle's gonna happen, and then the season just kind of just dragged it all. That's how I felt.
I feel like it's flipped now. Positions are kind of flipped.
What do you
so
give
I
it
kinda like that.
out of 10? The season?
The season?
Mhm.
I'd probably give it like a 7.5, 8.
7.58?
Yeah.
What about you?
Like a 4.5, 5.
4.5?
Dang.
5.
Holy moly.
I'll do a 5.
That's average? What about you, Jesse? What did you think?
I'd probably, in terms of out of 10, I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
It started off really good, blood and cheese,
Yeah.
and then Eric versus Arik,
Mhm.
awesome. It wasn't the disaster that season 8.
Definitely
Game
not.
of Thrones
Yeah,
was.
definitely not.
It had its high points, but like you mentioned earlier, Israel, I mean, at the end of season 1, Damon Bethany. At the end of season 2, Damon Bethany. It's kind of like we're at the same spot.
We are.
At the end. So
Yeah, and I think it makes sense where we are where we're at in terms of this at the end of the season because again, Rhaenyra is deliberate. She made multiple attempts, right? She's showing that she is the true heir. She is the queen.
She got
right?
that dog in her. That
I got that
dragon.
dragon
She
in
got
her.
that dragon in
I
her.
think that attitude, proves that Viserys was right in naming her
Yeah,
the heir. She
definitely.
was the correct
Yeah,
choice.
definitely.
For sure.
Out of 10, I think I would give it a 7 out of 7 because I'm hopeful of what's to come.
Mhm.
Right? But we'll see. We'll see what HBO does. Hopefully we get 10 episodes, not 8.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that unfortunately was affected
Disgusting.
by like the writer's strike and then
Mhm.
HBO
Yeah.
slashing budget.
Mhm,
So theoretically, it would have been a 10-episode season. Unfortunately,
Yeah, if I had my say, if I was HBO, it would have been like freaking 20 episodes. Hell yeah. Unlimited money.
we
Let's
need to
do
get
it.
back to that. Like, give us longer seasons and less of a wait between them. Like
Yeah.
at least yearly. Come
Yeah.
on.
That'd be good. Shorter episodes. Each episode is dedicated to a character, perhaps, that gives that depth, and then it culminates like those last couple of episodes to just like a banger,
You
That
don't
would
put
be
us in
cool.
charge of it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true. We're making some pretty good recommendations. So HBO,
Just hand off the copyrights to
creators,
us.
if like you're watching this right now, like, yeah, hit us up. You know where we're at. 2003 South Zamora 78207. We're here.
Building 10.
Building 10, yeah.
On the
Yeah,
corner.
Building 10. We
Not
want
the
you to go to
leasing
leasing
office.
Yeah, leasing office. But with that, we can go ahead and end it here.
All right, sounds good. So remember to catch us in 2 years when season 3 finally airs. But until then, make sure you check out, all of the books we have on cloudLibrary. Again, Fire and Blood, World of Fire and Ice.
Yeah, and if you don't have a BiblioTech library card, you're a Bexar County resident, we definitely recommend registering. It's free. You can go to bearbibliotech.org to register for a library card. It asks you for information. You make a password for yourself. And then on our website, that's all of our resources. So being a digital library, you can access our resources from anywhere. Even if you're in Pentos, if you're in the Vale, like anywhere.
North.
Anywhere, yeah. I mean, well, if you're a Pentos over there, you do have to have own property here in Bexar County. So I don't know.
Don't let
Hopefully you
that
do.
stop you. Buy
Yeah,
some
hopefully you
property
do.
in Bexar County,
There you
know?
go.
But yeah, definitely recommend. If not, on our website, visit one of our 4 locations: BiblioTech South, East, EDU, and BiblioTech West.
Yep.
Yeah, but with that being said,
All right. Thanks again for listening, y'all. I'm Rosanna,
I'm Ruby.
I'm Israel.
I'm Jesse.
and we'll catch y'all on the next episode. And once again, RIP, Queen That Never Was.
Yeah, we'll catch you in 2 years.